What a win. A win like this has me excited because now the St. Louis Blues sit 3 points behind those LA Kings. Granted, I know that Kings actually do have a game up on the Blues, so I mean, that doesn't really help, but I'm excited and this is a very good thing, and I'm going to talk more about it coming up here on Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. St. Louis, I have to tell you, I'm excited. I am so excited with that 3-2 victory in OT against those Edmonton Oilers. Words cannot express how ecstatic I was when Brandon Saad got that game-winning goal, and I was like, oh, we did it. So, yes, I am very proud of my Blues today, and I'm going to talk more about that. Also, playoff hope is back. It's slim, but it's back. And of course, looking ahead to our wonderful remaining schedule, which makes me kind of nervous, but I am happy today, and that's what matters, right? So, we got to take the little victories one day at a time. Before I dive deeper into things, I want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/locked on to get started. St. Louis, what a victory Tuesday we have. Our Blues just really impressed me. And, it's funny. Well, not like funny, like ha 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 funny, but it is funny how quickly your feelings can change when, yeah, sure, I was really upset about the loss to the Sharks. And don't get it wrong, I still am. But with last night's win, obviously, I'm just in a great mood today. So I'm not going to let that bring me down so much. So let's go talk about this game because this was such a crazy game. There was goals being waved off, like a lot of things went down. So in the first period, unfortunately, Edmonton did get the first goal, and Edmonton had a chance actually to go 2-0, but luckily that got waved off because the Blues challenged it, and you got to thank the video staff because they definitely were like, okay, this doesn't look right. So, and ended up taking that away. Then in the second period, oh my gosh, my MVP of the game, it is Mr. Captain Braden Schenn with the power play goal. And it's funny because Edmonton tried challenging that, and everybody was like, that's literally a fair goal. So it was fine. So then it became 1-1. Then the third period, well, who gets a 17th goal this season who already had a goal in the game? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's Captain Braden Schenn, baby. Schenner dropped another goal, giving the Blues a 2-1 lead. Now, that lead did last a little while, lasted about 13 minutes until Draisaitl was able to get his 39th goal during the end of the third period, making it 2-2. And then we head to OT. And Mr. Brandon Saad, oh my goodness, rips a beauty in the net, giving the Blues an overall victory of 3-2. So this was such a good game for the Blues. Schenner really has stepped up, and I am just so ecstatic that he scored twice. Binnington was in net. He stopped 35 shots, and the Oilers, they were taking shots like there was no tomorrow. So now the Blues are 3 points behind Los Angeles for that second wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Binnington said, we're aware. But at the same time, if we don't do our job, it doesn't matter. That's the mind game. And that's how we're channeling our focus now. Which honestly, it's a good mindset to have. Binnington cracks me up because, well, not cracks me up like, ha ha ha, he's so funny. But if you remember Jay Bins back even last season prior, he was such a hothead. And now I feel like he's really calmed down and he's being really rational. So I'm happy to see that. So also, Saad said, A really lucky bounce, actually. I thought I was back checking there, and I kind of hit their D-man's top of a stick and got a good break. Now, personally, I don't care. I was still screaming. I was laying in my bed. I'm tired, right? I didn't even tweet last night for Locked On Blues. Usually I'm tweeting while watching the games now. I was so tired. I'm just laying in my bed watching the game. As soon as Saad scored, I was like, ah! And then I went to bed. But no, I was really happy about that. Um, and then Shenny said, offensively, it's been a little bit up and down this year. It's just nice to contribute and help the team. Everyone was solid tonight. And I think you could see how happy everybody was. I mean, Kevin Hayes, he had an assist in the night, but even he, as soon as the final buzzer went off after Assad scored, he jumped off the bench and he was like, woo! Like everybody was just so ecstatic. And I am seeing now a team that is wanting to go to the playoffs. Does this take away from what happened in San Jose? I mean, not in San Jose, when San Jose came here. No. I'm still mad about that. I'm still going to be mad about that. But this definitely helps just a little bit with my feelings. I think that the thing is that loss was just so ugly and bad, and there's really not anything that's going to take that away. I don't think that a win against the Oilers in any way, at least in my head, was going to make me feel better about, the loss against San Jose. Because, and you're going to get mad when I say this, if the Blues beat the Sharks, they would be 1 point behind LA. 1 point behind LA. So when you think about that, you got to think, I'm actually going to tweet that out now on Locked On Blues because now I'm kind of angry. So I'm going to tweet it because this is what I'm going to do. If you think about it, if the Blues beat the Sharks, like I'm tweeting at Locked on Locked On Blues, they would only be 1 point behind the Kings for the second wild card spot. As I don't know if you can see it, but I literally just tweeted it. So I'm just telling the truth. But no, I mean, last night's one was huge. I thought they weren't going to win. That was the one game where I remember when I went and I did the game previews and I'm like, I don't know if they're going to be able to beat the Oilers. Well, guess what? They did. I spelled huge. You know what? Hug W, whatever. You know what? You get the point. It was a huge win. Anywho, another thing about this game though that I did like was just how solid the Blues looked the whole time. They didn't crumble, they didn't give up. Sometimes you can see their lack of energy and effort as the game goes on, but last night I did not see that. I saw a very energized Blues team, especially in that second period. Obviously, Schenn helped a lot by getting that goal, but I think this team overall just came out with a fire. The passion that all of you had last night at Enterprise was probably the most electric I have seen it. I saw passion, 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 passion. And this fan base, if there's one thing you're good at, it's passion. I know I don't live in St. Louis, so it's hard for me to get to games when they're playing in St. Louis, but I obviously see the Blues when when they're in my area. And, they show up. So fans show up for the Blues, and wearing that blue note, I'm always proud to wear my blue note. I don't know. It was such a good game. Such a good game, St. Louis. And, I'm going to talk about this coming up, but we also have teams that make me a little nervous. It's not going to be easy, but I feel like right now we need to focus on the fact that we had a huge win last night and hope that momentum carries on so that way the Blues can continue their success. Hopefully. Again, we're being hopeful on Locked On Blues today. And if there's one thing about me, I miss hope. I'm not, if you know this podcast. All right. Well, you know what I do like that brings me hope? It is FanDuel. So I'm going to tell you about my friends over at FanDuel. The sports calendar is loaded, and FanDuel's making it even more exciting to get in on the action because right now new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 you can use to bet the tourney, MLB, NBA, NHL, and so much more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a big win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So, do I still have hope for the playoffs? Yes. Am I delusional? Yes. I believe the Blues still have a chance of making the playoffs because while they now have a 3.2% chance, which is better than nothing, there's still a chance. And I'm going to take that chance and hopefully that happens. Now, the Kings did lose last night, so that's good. We have to just hope that they lose because, again, if they win and they rack up those points, like we're screwed. But if they lose, then you know what, we're good. So the Jets finally came through for us as they did with the Golden Knights, and they beat the Kings 4-3. Tomorrow, the Kings take on the Kraken. We are all going to root for the Seattle Kraken tomorrow night. All of us. I don't care if you don't like expansion teams. You're rooting for the Kraken, okay? So if you want the Blues to make it to the playoffs, you're going to need Seattle to beat the Kings tomorrow night. Then on Thursday, we also play April 4th as well. The Kings take on the Sharks. The Sharks beat us. Maybe the Sharks will be able to beat the Kings. Maybe. If, hypothetically, this is all hypothetically, if the Kings lose these next 2 games and we win, then we'll be 1 point behind. But again, I'm asking for quite a lot though, because then after the Sharks, they play the Canucks, so they could very well lose at that game. But the thing with the Blues is, okay, well, what does St. Louis need to do? Because I can talk about, oh, well, LA needs to lose, but if we're not winning, then it doesn't really matter. So right now, the St. Louis Blues and the teams that they need to beat, they need to beat the Predators on Thursday. And I know what you're thinking. Hale, are you crazy? No, because the Coyotes beat the Predators 8-4 and snapped that streak. 8-4. 8-4. The Arizona Coyotes beat Nashville. Okay? So what does that mean exactly? It means that we can beat them too. The Avalanche on Saturday beat the Predators 7-4. Baby, they are crumbling. They play the Bruins tonight. We're going to hope that they just look awful. Hope that they look awful. We're not catching up to Nashville. Okay, I'm not delusional because that's not going to happen. But we do need to beat the Predators on Thursday, so we're going to have to really hope that that happens. But why am I so angry? And then we go to San Jose to take on the Sharks after Nashville on Saturday. So we should win that. Should. And then we take on the Anaheim Ducks on Sunday. And then we go take on the Blackhawks. So we have 4 games coming up that are winnable games. Okay. You can beat Nashville, St. Louis. You can. And then we have the Canes, the Kraken, and the Stars. So, yeah, there's some tougher games in that too. But at the end of the day, this team is capable of doing some great things. And you have to believe, because if you don't believe in this team, what's the point of being a fan? And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to come at anybody. I'm just saying it how it is. What is the point if you're not going to believe? So, yeah, 3 points, it's a lot. You don't want these stupid Kings to go to overtime. So that's another thing you're going to root against. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful because we're not out yet. Until we are out, I'm still going to stay hopeful. I don't know. It's just hard to be hopeful sometimes because I do get really in my head about things. And I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm going to stay hopeful and hope that the Blues are able to win tonight. I'm going to look ahead, though, to some other things I'm going to talk about. But before I do that, I want to talk to you about my friends over at Sleeper. It's almost the end of the season, Blues fans, and right now we're still trying to get in the playoffs somehow, some way. Regardless of where we're at in the current standings, I want to remind you that you can win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey. Because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. And this is where you want to take guys like a Braden Schenn or a Brandon Saad who have been on a hot streak lately to record more or less in their Sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus minus, and more in a given game. To win 100 times bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 players' stats. You heard me, Blues fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nailing your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. So, Snuggy. Jim Snugs is going to be staying at his college, Michigan, for another season. That makes me upset. It is what it is. I mean, not Michigan, Minnesota. I don't know why I said Michigan. Everyone goes to Michigan. Minnesota. Don't come at me. It's Minnesota. That sucks. I mean, listen, I know that he's only going to be a junior and he has time. But again, he becomes an unrestricted free agent, I believe, if he doesn't play until 2026. It's something complicated. I'll look into it and explain it all, but just something I wanted to put out there. So the future is a little, oh, here's Stella, my little favorite Blues fan. It's funny. So this is my cat, if you're listening. She will watch every single game with me, and she watches it intently. And I think the thing too is that I think that when I'm like, Brian Shen or whatever, she will wag her tail because she knows how excited I am. So that's just another thing. In terms of looking ahead though, I am going to try to be optimistic. I'm going to try to be positive. I love this team. I'm going to always love and believe in this team. But looking ahead realistically, okay, what if they don't make the playoffs? Because that's a good chance. I don't know. I just feel like if they don't make the playoffs, I'm going to be really disappointed. So that sucks. I'm going to be hurt. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be hurt. But I'm excited for our guys like Dvorsky to come over and play. Like I'm excited for some of our players, right? That are our young prospects. And I think with the T-Birds, I got really into them this season as well. And I just feel like there's such a bright future ahead. Right now, I mean, I know it's raining and it kind of is a little bit gloomy. I know that it may not look the best at the moment because there's a lot of frustration, rightfully so, a lot of annoyance, and just a lot of things that did not go our way. I understand that. I'm receptive to that. I get it. But on the other hand, you have to remember that this is a team that we knew they were going to have problems heading into this season. Because what did I say this summer? Either they're going to play so much better and last season was a fluke, or there's actually truly some foundational issues that they have to fix. So it seems like number 2 is what exactly it is. It just sucks. It just really sucks. And I don't think there's any other words to say it. I just really feel like defeated when I think about the fact that we knew this summer that this was going to most likely be the outcome. We knew. And for it to be this south and for it to go this poorly, it's truly not a I told you so, but it's definitely like we kind of knew this was going to happen. So I'm going to try to be positive. I'm going to still have my playoff hope while I can. Until they're officially eliminated from the playoffs, I'm going to still believe. Okay. So I'm not losing all hope yet because there's not all hope to be lost yet. Now, If they don't make the playoffs, will I be upset? I will do an episode angry, and I will say that now because I will be angry. But right now, I'm like happy because I'm like, oh, we beat the Oilers, 3 points behind for now. But again, if the Kings win, then again, the Blues will be 5 points behind. So it's just a constant cycle of being behind. But if we beat the Sharks, we would have been 1 point behind. So think about that. And on that note, because now I'm angry, I will talk to you tomorrow about our young guys that excite me that we drafted and we could see next year wearing that blue note. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And like always, let's go Blues.